So today we'll talk about what is object-oriented programming. Okay. You all can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
today we'll talk about object-oriented programming, what it is, what we expect. Okay. And of course, tomorrow we can see the code how to do it. Okay. So you can close the laptop or lab. Okay. So see, what we have been doing so far. Okay. What we have been doing so far is called as like step-by-step execution. In the sense, you write one logic, then second logic, third logic, so on. So when you run the program is run as a like first logic is run, second logic is run, third logic is run, so on. Right? It goes in sequential fashion. Okay. It's called procedural programming. We call it as procedural programming. Okay. So we follow a procedure. We write one step, second step. Okay. We write functions. Those are again different steps of working. Right. This is old style of programming. Okay. But C++, okay, was the first language which they designed as, we call them object-oriented programming. Okay, so it is different. Okay, in our real life, okay, we do have we follow process, right? We do lot of processing, but we don't behave like a process, right? Process is called when you want to do something. But if you see, we behave with the way our life is designed is like object oriented. Okay, we put object in front. In the sense, if I say apple, right? If I say apple, what does come to your mind? Yeah. What does come to your mind? What do you think of apple? Okay, a fruit and a company, right? So there's a fruit, right? And fruit has its associated properties, right? Of course, you can't play cricket with apple. So playing cricket is not a property of apple. So playing cricket is not a property of apple. But eating apple, making, putting in custard or making apple pie, these are the properties of apple, right? Similarly, when you think of apple as a company, right? So it has its own set of properties. And when you want to eat apple, that's when you need a real apple. To know apple, you don't have to own an apple. Somebody has to explain what apple to you. The reason you know what apple is today, because maybe in nursery or class 1, the teacher told you what apple is, isn't it? So you know what apple is. You must have seen the news and read in newspaper or Google, and you know what Apple company does. So now you know about Apple, right? Once you know about it, you automatically knows everything about Apple, right? So the way we behave is by knowing object. Okay, and to know the object, you don't have to own an object, right? To know about a Boeing company, I don't have to sit an aeroplane, right? I can know about it, okay? But to use it, right? I need to be in it, okay? To eat apple, I can't eat imaginary apple, right? So same thing in programming. What the thought is, because since in life we put object in as a subject, and we work around objects. So why not even in programming do that? That's the real world working of programming. Okay. So from today onwards, not today, maybe from tomorrow onwards, your programming will again change. You will not do the way you've been doing programming till today. So till today, our focus was on logic, building logic. So till now, our focus was to know about the logic, how to build logic. We were we were trying to understand the nuts and bolts. Okay. Now we are going to build a car. We have to create an object. Okay. So see, in programming world, we implement OOPS concept using class and object. Okay. So class is defining what, you know, what apple is. So class is like defining what. So maybe if you take human being, about us is like having 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 legs, right? This is our property. Okay. And so, you know, like 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 eyes. And then you have something called as functions that we can perform. We can jump, run, dance, laugh, cry. These are what we do, right? So every class, okay, will have, say, I call class human, let's say, right? Every class human will have first your variables. Okay, so defining about us, like number of legs equal to 2, number of hands equal to 2, number of eyes equal to 2, right? These are your variables equivalent in programming world. Every class will have variables, and what we can do is functions. Okay, is functions. So laugh, cry, jump, these are functions. So when you define a class we actually add 2 things. One, variable, okay, variables and functions. Okay. So you'll have multiple variables and multiple functions. Each of these variables and functions are related and belongs to one class. Okay. If I say dog, what will be the variables? Number of tail, number of legs, number of eyes, etc. Right? The functions, bark, jump, run, etc. Right? So when you define something, it is like telling you what apple is. So when I tell you what apple is, it doesn't mean that you can see, touch, feel, eat. No, you can't do it, right? You're just doing on paper. So defining class is like doing it on paper. Okay? Yeah, go ahead. Can't hear me? Guys, online, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sometimes, yes, sir. Sometimes we are getting breaks, sir, but now I'm able to hear.
The internet is not good, maybe I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah. Let me know when you don't hear in the chat. Okay. I'll try to repeat. Yeah. Thanks, Daniel. Okay. So as I said, class is nothing but it's a set of. I stopped sharing the screen. I'll share it back again. Okay. I just wanted to look for the chat window. Okay. So as I said, class is nothing but it's a collection of variables and functions to define a class.
Sir?
Does it mean that you can eat the apple or you see the apple?
Hello.
Paper, just for defining the class, you won't be able to use it. Okay? To use a class, we have to create object. So that's the difference between class and object. Class is just a definition, knowing what it is. Knowing what? Knowing its properties and functions. Okay, variables are also sometimes called as properties. So knowing properties and functions. To define, we need class, right? But to use, we need object. Okay, object is an instance of class. So when you create an object, automatically all the properties and functions of class will be assigned to the object, right? So when I say I am an object, so I was saying that all of us are an object of class human being, right? All of us are an object of class human being. So everything that you define in class human being will be inherited by all of us, right? So when I say hello, how are you? You will ask me my name. You will not ask me how many legs do you have, correct? So things which are common for all the human beings are class level variables. Number of legs, number of hands are common, but name is very specific. So name is specific to the object. So when you ask me, you will ask me things which are specific to me, right? Where are you based at? What's your name, right? You will not ask me how many legs you have, how many hands you have, isn't it? Because as a human being, we all have same number of legs and hands. Okay. So tomorrow when we start creating, we will see how to create class level variables, class level functions, object level variables, and object level functions. Do you understand, everyone?
Yes,
So we
sir.
learn that first. Okay. So creating class, okay, and using is much simpler than everything else. Okay, it's very easy to use. Now, why do we have to create classes? Okay, one option is that it is like a real world programming, okay, where procedure takes back seat. So you need a procedure, right? When you go to apply a passport, there is a procedure. When you go and apply, when you want to deposit money in the bank, there is a procedure. When you want to send letter to, speed post, there is a procedure. But life is not about everything, right? Life is about me, object. If I need to go to post office, I'll apply post office procedure. If I need to go to bank, I'll apply bank procedure. So similarly, we create object in programming world also. We create object, and depending upon our business requirement, we will call specific functions of the class, specific variables of the class. Okay. Now, second thing is, when you talk about automobiles, right? So what are the properties of automobiles? Can tell me variables of automobiles. Forget about
Engine,
functions.
transmission.
What is variables of automobile?
Engine, transmission, body type, number
Louder,
of
I can't
seats.
hear you guys.
I said engine, transmission.
Okay, the make,
body type,
brand, okay, number of wheels, 6-wheeler, 4-wheeler, 2-wheeler, right? Which make it is, brand it is, right? So you can even divide automobile into subclasses, right? We can say 2-wheelers, cars, SUVs, heavy vehicles, right? So automobiles can be divided into multiple classes. Okay, so when you divide into multiple classes, so let's say I talk about automobile, right? Now here you say bikes, auto, say car, SUV, let's say. Or maybe a car, you can have some model, bus, heavy vehicles. Or sometimes what they do is, they call it as passenger versus commercial. Okay, bike, auto, car will be in passenger. Okay, commercial or maybe auto will be in commercial, right? That's what they divide, right? Auto companies, the car companies, they divide this into this. Then you'll have bus, truck, heavy vehicle, etc. Etc. Right? So what does this indicate? So we have a class called automobile. Why do we have to go down to bike, car classes? See, bike is also a class, car is also a class, automobile also a class. Automobile connects bike, car, also truck. So all of these classes roll up to automobile. Why do we have to differentiate into subclasses? Tell me what's the reason of differentiating? Because there are some differences between them, right? So, but then why are we clubbing them together automobile? Because there are some similarities between them. Correct? So what we do in such cases is whatever is common between all of these, we declare it automobile. And what is not common, different. So we say, okay, let's create one more class called bike and car and things which are specific to bike class. We'll put it in bike. So that's how your bike and car roll up to one class which is automobile. Okay, we call this as inheritance. So we'll talk about multiple properties. Okay, there are many properties that we'll talk about of OOPs. First and the most common property is called inheritance, which you use often. Inheritance means, okay, what does inheritance means in real life? As a child, you inherit the properties of your parent, right? So in this class, in this way, in this example, automobile is your parent class, right? And bike, car, autos are the child classes of automobiles, right? So bike, okay, car and auto, they are independent classes and they will inherit the properties of automobiles, right? So all the properties of automobiles is available to bike, but the bike's property is not available to automobile. Bike's property is not available to car. Car's property is not available to auto or bike. But automobile's properties are inherited by bike, car, and all the children. Okay, point one. Point two. As a child, you can ignore. Now, let's say your father has a car and you don't have a car. If you need a car, you take your father's car. Correct? But let's say if you have your own car, will you take your father's car? No. So if automobile has, let's say, a function called run. Okay, and in car, I don't have any function called run. I don't have any function. So when I say bike dot run, okay, which function will be called? Or will give error? So see, in this case, you won't get error. I'm calling bike dot run, but bike father has a run, right? Automobile has run as a function. So when you don't have your car, you will take your parent's car. So when I say bike dot run, in this case, automobile run will be called. Automobile run function will be called. Understood? I am calling bike dot run, but bike doesn't have a function called run. I have not written a function in the bike run, but I've defined the run in parents class. So in inheritance, that is the advantage. Bike will inherit the other properties like variables and functions. Okay, but let's say you define run in bike also. You can do run in bike also. In this case, bike run will be called, not the automobile run. Because when you have your own car, you will not take your parents' car, you will drive your own car. So just like this, if parent also has run and child also has run, okay, and when I call child.run, I will get child's run properties, not parents. If I say automobile.run, I'll be getting automobile run. But if child doesn't have, still it will execute the parents' run.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how you are able to manage similarity as well as difference. If run of child is different than parent, you will create a run property in child. If the run property is same as parent and child, then you will not declare and you will allow parents function to get called. This is also called as polymorphism. Polymorphism means same variable name or function name, okay, but it is available in different context. Same name. Okay, name is run. That's a poly. Poly means multiple form. Polymorphism, multiple form. Same name, but we are creating multiple functions. Car can have its own run, bike can also, auto can have its own run. Right? Same name. But depending upon how you call a specific function will be called, right? So though you are defining run, but you are defining run in different classes, and depending upon what you want, you will call it. Okay. Now, parent can decide not to give property to his children. Possible? So we call it as modifiers. Okay. Or accessibility. Okay. So modifiers can be public, private, and protected. Okay, public, private, and protected. Private means when a class automobile says, I don't want bike to use my run, I don't want my child to use my property, I will make it private. So if you make, and we will see how to make private. Okay, in Python we use underscore to make it private. So when you make something as private, then nobody can access your, even your child class cannot access your property. So you can choose, okay, if you have 3 functions, you can choose, okay, this one I want to make it private, other 2 I want to leave it available for others to use it. Okay, so public, private, protected. Private means nobody can use it. If you declare a function as private, or if you declare a variable as private, then nobody else will be able to use it. Okay, not even your child class. When you say public, everybody can use it. Your child class and others can also use it. I can also directly call from there and use it. In Python, we do not have protected. Okay, so there is no concept of protected, but in OOPS concept, we have protected word. So what Python says is, I'm not forcing you to implement protected, but as a programmer, you can indicate that it's protected. Protected means what? It can only be accessed by its child. If I say this is a protected property, that means only my child, I can use it of course, and my child classes can use it. But not everybody can use it. Okay, not everybody can use it. Only my child class can use it. So protected means it's for me and for my children. Public means everyone. Protected means, private means only for me, not even my children can use. So Python has all 3 concepts, but it has implemented public and private. Protected is not implemented, but there is a concept. Okay, so what it says is, when you define a variable the way we've been defining so far, we've been defining like var1, right? Now, right? These are the ways we have been defining variables. So if you define a variable like this, they are your public property, public variables, public functions. Okay, so function can be run. So this is your public function. You can use it, your children can use it, anybody else can also, other class can also use it. But if I say underscore run, okay, underscore, okay, this is your private. Okay, here underscore, this is hyphen, underscore num1. Okay, it becomes underscore. It becomes private variable. Nobody can use it, not even your children can use it. Okay. Now in Python, we write single underscore for protected. Okay, single underscore for protected. But as I said, right, in practical purpose, when you do the programming, it will behave like public only. It will behave like public. But when you see something as a programmer, when you see something underscore, try not to call it by other class. Okay, so Python has not strictly implemented the protected concept. Same thing if you do in C++ or Java, you'll get error. You cannot access protected members apart from its children class, child class. Okay, outside if you call, it will give error. But in Python, you can call from outside, not a problem. But it is recommended not to do that. It's only a recommendation, not strictness. And we will see tomorrow when we do the programming, right? Private members you cannot access even in the area. Yes. So we discussed about public, private, protected. We discussed about inheritance, polymorphism. Okay. We also have encapsulation. Okay. So these are the properties of OOPs. Okay. So initially you'll find it little different because the way we've been programming and now that we're going to program will be totally changed. But going forward, please use class, examples, class way of programming. Okay, everyone.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
stop here for today. Tomorrow, I will not have to explain all this, right? We'll start coding directly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll see how to define a class, how to create an object, how to use object, and all the programs that we have done, try to implement in terms of class and object. Because that's the real way of doing programs. When you are actually doing a project or you're doing any kind of real-time work, you will be using class objects only. You will not be using the way we've been doing. Okay, and there are a lot of advantages, right? It's actually how we behave, right? So that's how the modern programming is done. Modern programming is done using class and objects only.
So I'm going to create a class. Okay, class. Let's say we call it Apple. Okay, so this is your class Apple. And what does class have? Variables. So I'm going to say total Apple. Got stuck. Total equal to 0. And let's say I define a function. How do we define a function? Def hello Apple. Okay, parenthesis, and see what happened automatically. PyCharm added self. Okay, so we'll talk about self in some time. Let it be there. Okay, now we have to add a body here. So let's say I say print hello from Apple, right? So this is how you define a class. So what are the 4 members that we discussed that class will have? So what are the 4 types of member that we discussed? We said that class will have. Okay. Okay. So what are the 4 members? I said class level variable, object level variable, and class level function and object level function. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So see, when I define a variable total just like it, what you see on the screen, it is class level.
Okay. Yes,
it is
sir.
class level. Okay. Now,
Yes,
when you put a self, it becomes object level. When you put self, it becomes object level. Okay. So now, how do I create an object of this? I said we can create multiple objects. Okay, so let's say I create my apple, the one that I'm owning. Okay, my apple is apple. Okay, this is how you create a class, and this is how you create an object. The class will have the definition, the properties, the definition and properties, so variables and functions. Okay, and you can create another object, okay, which will have which will automatically inherit all the properties of the class. Okay, so in this case, when I say my apple dot, okay, so see F and M. Okay, what is M? M means method. Okay, so when I call this, okay, now when I run it, okay, it might be running. Yeah, see, hello from Apple. This function is called. Okay. Okay. So let's do an example. Everybody create a class. Okay. Create a class and add a function which will take two user input and print sum. Simple function. Write a class. Okay, inside that put a function. Function should do the sum of two numbers. Simple. Do it fast. Something like this. Okay.
Yes,
Now add another function to it called as input value. Okay. So when you add another function input value, then the input of A and B should be in that function, not here. So you write a function which will take two parameters input. Inside this, write a function which will take two parameters as input and and say A equal to num1, B equal to num2. So what did I say? Add another function def input val. Okay, and here I need to take two numbers.
Yes, sir, done.
And I'll say n2, and I'm going to say A equal to 5, B equal to 7, whatever. Now you see here. Now when I put A equal to 5, B equal to 7, how will class know that it is a class level variable or object level variable? It will not know. So to make it, say that it is object level. So when I say object level, what does it mean? How is object level variable different than class level variable? Object level variable will be specific to the object. So yesterday's class was all waste. Object level variable will be specific to the object. Other object cannot see. So as I said, right, like think of human being, and we are all object. So my phone is my phone. My laptop is my laptop. You don't have access to my phone. You don't have access to my laptop. Right? That is specific to the object. Your phone, your laptop is yours. Class means something which is common, right? Let's say this meeting ID is common for all of us, right? So when you put something as class level, it is available for all, and the value that you will see will be same. But if we say object level, then it is only for me. For example, here, what I will do, I will say self dot. Self dot indicates it's what? Object level.
Yes.
Okay. Now, since it is object level and sum is also object level and input value also object level. How do you know both are object level?
In definition of sum, where within the bracket self is written. Sir.
Yes. So we're writing self. That
Yes.
means that function is also object level. Both the functions are object level.
Yeah.
Okay. So object level variable will be available to both the object. Okay. So if I delete it, okay, and instead of a plus b, I will say self dot a and self dot b. Okay. Now when I run it, what will happen? I'll get error. Why error? Because a and b, right, is not yet defined. So what we have to do is we have to call the other function first, myApple dot input val. Okay, and I have to pass the values for n1 and n2. Self, you don't have to do it. Okay, self is as it is, you don't have to do it. So 10 and 20. Now when I run it, see, we're getting 12. So this is what I told you. Okay, see, both are functions, input val and sum, right? But are we passing any value to sum? No, we are not passing any value to sum. Then how does sum gets value a, b?
From input val.
So yeah, but is sum calling input value? No. So see, if you buy an apple today, tomorrow you can make a custard. Yes or no? Because you bought it today. Today you bought it, that means input value, you bought it today. And tomorrow sum, you are doing the addition. Okay. So irrespective of the procedure, right? So that's what I told you. Procedure is important. Making custard is important. Going to bank is important. Going to post office is important. Going to passport is important. But more than that, you are important as an object. Your passport, you can go to passport office, you can apply for visa, it's up to you, right? So since it's your passport, you are taking same passport for renewal, you are taking same passport for visa. So value is an object level. It doesn't matter whether you call input val or sum or you could do something else. Okay, everywhere this value is available. Not only that, if I create another, let's say another object. myApple2. Okay. I create another called myApple2. Now here I'm going to give to 20, 20. So when I say myApple.sum, it is printing. Oops, what happened?
Sir, they're actually in input val, we are not printing, sir.
Yeah, I know we're not printing an input val.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Is it because it's outside the def?
There we are declaring self dot a is equal to 5. No, sir.
Oh yeah, yeah. These mistakes should catch, guys.
First time also the same thing happens, sir, actually.
Yeah, I didn't even, you guys also did not say. Okay, now you see.
Yes, sir.
So N1, no, object knows whether it is, object myApple or myApple1. Okay, if I print myApple_sum, okay, here also you get what? 30 only you will get. Okay, it is able to differentiate between each object. Okay, so myApple is 10, 20. myApple.a, if I print myApple.a, what will I get? You get 10.
Okay.
Okay, A is 10.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I make it, okay. So when I say dot, okay, you will see AB here. Now, what did I say? We can declare a variable as private.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, anyway, self it is there. So it will be accessed. I'll tell you later. Like when we are trying to create a default value. But before that, okay. So now you are able to get this. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Now you can
Yes, sir.
create any number of object, right? And each object will have what? Two functions, input and sum. Now let's look at this. Input val is 0, and every time when you're calling input val, let's say every time you're calling input val, okay, calculation dot total, okay, calculation dot total plus equal to 1. So every time you're doing input val, I'm increasing the count of total. Okay. Now, if I print my apple dot total val, what will I get? Think and tell me.
2 maybe.
I think you'll get 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah, 30.
How will you get 30, Vanesh?
It's my apple. It was the first one, right?
Think, read, see, and then tell. Don't say anything that comes to your mind. First see. There has to be some logic behind saying 30, isn't it? I don't see any logic for 30.
2, sir, maybe. We're calling input val 2 times.
How will you get 70? Tell me.
By adding all 4 values.
How are you adding all the values? Where? Which line is adding? Tell me which line is adding all the values?
The total, right?
Total. Where am I adding? Which line? Which line am I adding? If I say total, it will add by itself. I have to tell you where to add, right? Which line is adding all the values? Tell me.
I thought you.
Which line I'm adding all the values? So if I have to say 30, right? I have to do n1 plus n2, a plus b. Where am I doing a plus b? Where am I adding all the values to total? So tell me which all lines total is appearing? Where am I touching total? Tell me which lines? Pick up something. Which line am I touching total?
2.
11 and 14, sir. 11 and 14.
What about 2?
2.
What about 6? And where is 11?
We are calling the
Where
function.
am I touching total? Which line am I touching total?
2, 6,
2
and
and 6,
19.
sir.
And 19.
What about
right?
19?
Yes, sir.
What else? Which line am I touching total? Tell me. This is not how you should think after 1 month of class, after almost like 2-3 weeks of class. Which line am I touching total? You tell me.
2, 6, and 19.
2, 6, 19, correct? I'm touching
Yeah.
there. So where do
Yeah.
you think, Dhwani, that I'm making it 30? See, wherever I touch, there only values will get assigned or whatever, right? Deleted, edited, added, deleted, updated, correct? Where do you think, okay, which operation do you think will make it 30?
Sorry, but I thought that you would add all 4 values.
Just because name says 30, you will add 10, 20, 10, everything, and you're saying 70 first.
Yes, sorry.
I am incrementing the total value by 1. right? It can be 0, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not even adding 5. Okay, how many times? So this is inside which function?
Input val.
How many times input value is called?
2 times.
2 times. So maximum how many values total can take?
So 2.
Maximum it can take 2.
Yes, sir.
Right? But I'm asking what is my apple dot total? I'm calling my apple dot total.
So
Okay,
if
let
it's
me do my apple 1 dot total. Now you tell me. My apple 1, why it's giving error? My apple 2, right? Yes. Now you tell me what will I get? Line number 19 output, line number 20 output.
Line number 19 maybe 1, sir.
no, line number 19, we would at 3, right?
Yeah, 3, sir, maybe.
No. Because of my apple.
Lines. Already we have
So-
called in 11 and 12, no, sir. Sorry, 11 and 14.
6.
11, see 11, 14, I'm calling input val, correct?
They
Input val
automatically.
is changing,
Yes, sir.
right? So maximum it can take 2 value. It cannot take more than 2. Okay, so see, both will give us 2. It is a class level variable. I told you yesterday, population. If I ask you or Donit or anybody else, population will be same. Population will it change? Total number of students, if I ask in the class, any one of you ask, I will get the same answer. How many people are on the call? See the participants, how many participants are on the call? 5. Will it change if I speak or you speak?
No.
No, it is a class level variable. Okay, class level variable will be same for any object. But if I say my apple dot a, and if I say my apple 2 dot a, they will have different values.
Yeah, 10 and 20 because they're object level variables.
Correct. So they will have specific to the object that we give. Okay, class level variable. Okay, this is how we define class level variable. Inside the class, now you see, this total is inside the class. So we don't have to say class name dot calculation dot. But this total I'm using inside a object level function.
Yeah.
So I'm saying calculation class name dot total. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now write a function.
Sir, before that, I have a small doubt.
Yes.
Class calc now here in the present screen, calculations is our class. Okay, sir. And then input value is one object. And another one is sum, I think, sir. The second function.
See,
yes,
there are 2 functions.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Input val, sum.
Yes, yes,
Both
sir.
the functions are object level. There
Okay.
are 2 variables for object level, A, B. Okay. If
Yes,
I
sir.
define something like sum here,
Yeah.
self dot sum equal to self dot A plus self dot B. Now you will have
3 variables in
object level
sum.
functions and 3 object level variable and 1 class level variable. Make sense? So we have how many members? We have 1.
Total
2,
is class level variable.
Wait, listen.
Okay, sir.
The total members, how many members the class has? 1,
Okay.
2,
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
6. It has total 6 members. Out of 6, how many are class level? How many are object level? Only 1 class level, 5 object level. Out of 5 object level, how many are functions? How many are variables? 2 functions.
2 functions.
3 variables.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me any question now, Pujita?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll end it here today.
Yes, sir.
Okay then.
Yes, sir.
Take care, everyone.